A retrospection. It was the end of November. Holmes and I sat by a warm fire on a cold, foggy night in Baker Street. Since our visit to Devonshire, Holmes had worked on two important cases. First, he exposed Colonel Upward in a card-cheating scandal. Then, he helped me, Montpensier, who was accused of murdering her stepdaughter M.L.E. Carrère. Later, the young lady was found alive and married in New York. Holmes was happy about solving these difficult cases, so I asked him about the Baskerville mystery. Holmes said the story about Stapleton was simple, but seemed complicated because we did not know his motives at first. He had talked twice with Mrs. Stapleton and now knew almost everything. Holmes had notes about the case under the letter B in his list. Holmes told me the story from memory, but he warned me that sometimes he forgets details because he focuses so much on new cases. He explained that Stapleton was really a Baskerville. He was the son of Roger Baskerville, Sir Charles's younger brother. Roger had run away to South America with a bad reputation. People said he died unmarried, but he had married and had a son, Stapleton. Stapleton married Beryl Garcia from Costa Rica and stole public money. He changed his name to Vandeleur and started a school in Yorkshire. The school failed, so they changed their name again to Stapleton and moved to southern England. Stapleton found out that only two people were alive between him and a valuable estate. When he came to Devonshire, he planned to get this estate. He pretended his wife was his sister to trick people. He wanted to use her as a decoy, but she did not help him. Stapleton made friends with Sir Charles and the neighbors. Sir Charles told him about the family's ghostly hound, which scared him. Stapleton learned Sir Charles had a weak heart and was superstitious. He planned to kill Sir Charles using the hound and make it look like an accident. Stapleton bought a strong dog in London. He painted it with glowing paint to look like a demon dog. He hid the dog in the Grimpen Mire, a dangerous swamp. Several times, Stapleton tried to use the dog to scare Sir Charles, but failed. The dog was seen by peasants, and the legend of the demon dog grew. Stapleton tried to use his wife to lure Sir Charles, but she refused and would not help him. So Stapleton was stuck. Then he used another woman, Mrs. Laura Lyons, to trick Sir Charles. He pretended to be single and promised to marry her if she got a divorce. When Sir Charles planned to leave the Hall, Stapleton forced Mrs. Lyons to write a letter to Sir Charles to meet her. Stapleton stopped Mrs. Lyons from going to the meeting so he could act first. One night, Stapleton brought the painted dog to the gate, where he knew Sir Charles would be. The dog chased Sir Charles, who ran screaming down an alley. Sir Charles died of a heart attack in fear. The dog left footprints near the body, but no dog tracks were seen on the path. The dog went back to its hiding place. This was how Sir Charles died. The crime was clever because it was hard to prove who did it. The dog was the only helper, and it could not tell who owned it. Both Mrs. Stapleton and Mrs. Lyons suspected Stapleton. Mrs. Stapleton knew about the hound and his plans. Lyons only knew about the meeting before Sir Charles died. But Stapleton controlled both women, so he had no worries. The first part of Stapleton's plan worked, but the harder part was still ahead. Stapleton might not have known about the Canadian heir, Sir Henry Baskerville, but Dr. Mortimer told him all about Sir Henry's arrival. Stapleton first thought he could kill Sir Henry in London before he came to Devonshire. He did not trust his wife, so he kept her close. They stayed in London at a hotel where he kept his wife locked in her room. Stapleton disguised himself with a beard and followed Dr. Mortimer and Sir Henry to London and then to Devonshire. His wife was afraid of him and dared not warn Sir Henry, except by secretly cutting words from a letter to send a warning. Stapleton needed something of Sir Henry's clothes to make the dog follow him. He bribed hotel staff to get a boot. The first boot was new and useless, so he returned it and got an old one. This showed Holmes that the dog was real because only a real dog would follow the smell of an old boot. Holmes said the strangest parts of a case often help to solve it best. The next morning, our friends came to visit us. Stapleton followed us in a taxi. From what he knew about our rooms and my looks, and from how he acted, I think Stapleton did more crimes than just the Baskerville case. In the last 3 years, there were 4 big robberies in the West Country, but no one was caught. One robbery was very cruel. It happened in May at Folkestone Court. The burglar shot the page who caught him alone and masked. I believe Stapleton got money this way. For many years he was a dangerous man. That morning Stapleton escaped from us quickly. He was bold. He sent my own name to me by the taxi driver. From that moment he knew I was in charge in London. He had no chance there. So he went back to Dartmoor and waited for Sir Henry. But he did not tell him everything. There was an old servant named Anthony at Merripit House. He worked for the Stapletons for many years. He must have known the truth about the couple. This man ran away and left the country. Anthony is not a common English name, but Antonio is common in Spanish countries. Like Mrs. Stapleton, he spoke English with a strange accent. I saw Anthony cross the Grimpen Mire on the path Stapleton showed him. Probably, Anthony took care of the Hound when Stapleton was away, but maybe he did not know why. The Stapletons went to Devonshire. Sir Henry and you followed soon. I want to tell you about myself then, and when I looked at the paper with printed words, I saw a watermark and smelled white jessamine perfume. Criminal experts must know many smells. This perfume meant a woman was near. I thought of the Stapletons. So I was sure about the Hound and the criminal before we went west. My plan was to watch Stapleton, but I could not do this with you because he would be careful. So I tricked everyone, even you, and went secretly when you thought I was in London. I was not so uncomfortable as you thought. I stayed mostly at Coombe Tracey and only used a hut on the moor when needed. Cartwright came with me. He disguised himself as a country boy and helped me a lot. I depended on him for food and clean clothes. When I watched Stapleton, Cartwright watched you, so I controlled everything. Your reports came to me quickly, sent from Baker Street to Coombe Tracey. They helped me a lot, especially the true story about Stapleton. I found out who the man and woman were. The case was difficult because of an escaped prisoner and his connection with the Barrymores. You also helped clear this up well. I had already made the same conclusions. When you found me on the moor, I knew everything about the case, but I did not have proof to take to a jury. Even Stapleton's attack on Sir Henry, which ended with the prisoner's death, did not prove murder well. We had to catch Stapleton red-handed. For that, Sir Henry had to be alone and unprotected as bait. We did this. It was hard for Sir Henry, but we won. Stapleton was destroyed. I must say, it was wrong to put Sir Henry in danger, but we did not expect the terrible dog or the fog that helps the dog attack quickly. We won, but it was costly. The doctor and specialists say Sir Henry will recover soon. He was hurt in body and feelings. He loved the lady deeply. The saddest thing was that she tricked him. Now about the lady's part. Stapleton had power over her. It might be love or fear or both. She acted like his sister because he told her to. But she did not want to help with murder. She tried many times to warn Sir Henry without telling about her husband. Stapleton was jealous. When he saw Sir Henry liking the lady, he got angry. He tried to stop their meetings, but also made sure Sir Henry would come to Merripit House often. On the day of the crisis, his wife changed. She learned about the prisoner's death and knew the dog was kept in the outhouse when Sir Henry came for dinner. She fought with her husband and found out he loved someone else. She hated him then and would betray him. He tied her up to stop her from warning Sir Henry. He hoped people would think Sir Henry died from a family curse and that his wife would keep silent. But I think he was wrong, and default this time. A Spanish woman does not forgive such things easily. Now, Watson, I cannot tell more without my notes. I think nothing important is missing. Stapleton could not scare Sir Henry to death like he did the old uncle with the dog. The dog was wild and hungry. If it did not scare Sir Henry to death, it would stop him from fighting. One problem is this. If Stapleton became the heir, how could he explain living near the property with a different name? How could he take the fortune without suspicion? That is hard to answer, Mrs. Stapleton heard him talk about this. There were 3 ways he might claim the property from South America, and never come to England or use a disguise in London or give proof to a helper to claim the fortune for him. We know he would find a way. Now, Watson, after weeks of hard work, let's enjoy a pleasant evening. I have tickets for the opera Les Huguenots. Have you heard the Desresquis sing? Please be ready in half an hour. We can eat at Marcini's on the way.